Hello friends, welcome to Gardening with Creekside. I am Jenny. Just a few short weeks ago, I had my friend Kata from Walter's Garden come and we did a front porch chat together. During that video, we talked about how sometimes growing heucheras or corbels can be a little bit of a challenge, especially here in the South. And Kata and I were talking about that. For me at least, I have the most success when my heucheras are in containers. So what we are going to do today is show you a little bit of maintenance that you may find yourselves having to do every so often, because one of the common complaints about heucheras is that they don't seem to last a long time, especially if they're in the landscape. For me, they last a lot longer in a container, but the reason that a lot of times that they don't last for as long is this heaving process that the heucheras go through. Basically, it's kind of like they start to uproot themselves from the soil and then they're exposed. And Kata was saying a simple way to make sure that they last a lot longer and you get a good lifespan out of your heucheras is to simply replant them. That is what I'm going to show you today. Right here, I have a fantastic heuchera that performs magnificently well for us here in North Carolina with our hot, humid days and nights. This is Lemon Love. Lemon Love is a heuchera that is part of the Villosa species of heucheras. Villosas are native to the Southeast United States. Therefore, they are perfect for our heat and humidity and can handle them like a champ. Lemon Love has been in this container. This might have been its 4th year in here. I originally planted it as a mixed container. The other plants were either annuals or they were perennials that I then pulled out and moved somewhere else because Lemon Love was doing so magnificently well and filled up this big urn all by itself. This summer, however, it was looking a little sad. Now I know it's going towards the end of November and everything is looking a little sad, but Lemon Love particularly this year was not doing well. And if you look down inside of the container and you're looking at the Lemon Love, you can tell why. Because it is starting that kind of upheaval, heaving process where those stems are coming out. So the roots are not down deep into the plant. So we're going to fix that today. Again, this thing's been in the ground for like 4 years, or in the pot for 4 years. So I might be struggling a little bit with it, but you know, hey, that's all right. It'll be my workout for the day. I am going to use my my Heucheras knife. Remember, we've talked about this before. It's a great garden tool. Still have not used it because it's nice and clean. So this is going to be the perfect application for me to use it because this container is a little odd shaped, and sometimes when you have containers that are fatter or wider at the bottom and the sides, but then they come in and narrow, it's hard to get that soil out. So my Heucheras will be able to cut it out. But first what I'm going to do is probably just go in here and cut out the Lemon Love, see what we've got, get it out, kind of inspect it. I got a wagon, I'm gonna put it in a wagon just so I don't make a hot mess, too much of a hot mess all over the ground right here. So that's what I'm gonna do, is just kind of start digging and see if I can get this baby out of here. Well, that wasn't so bad. Now, one thing that I always preach, and I'm going to continue to preach till probably the day that I die, is that when you have a container and you are replanting the container or you're planting it for the first time, you want to have this container filled completely with as much soil as you possibly can. Of course, now this one does have a big hole, so I do have like a couple of rocks at the bottom just so all the soil doesn't flush out of the bottom. But do not put in the bottom of your container, packing peanuts or pine cones or water bottles to try to use less soil, right, to save you money in the beginning, because your roots cannot get nutrition out of those materials. You need as much soil and good food in the container as you possibly can for your plants. I'm going to take this bad boy and try to dump it into this wagon so that way I can just haul it off and put it in the compost pile, and then we'll refill it and start all over again. Okay, so you can see that my container is completely empty. I do have the rock in there just to prevent, like I said, all the soil from, going through the bottom of the hole. A trick that I learned this past season from an article in Fine Gardening magazine was, if you're doing container planting, is to fill about the bottom third of the container with compost. So we're going to use our land and seed compost in the bottom third of this container, and then we're going to use the professional potting mix that we use here at the nursery to top dress it from there. You don't have to use a professional mix, obviously, but like the Proven Winners potting soil, any really high quality potting soil will work for you. I just happen to have a bag of this open, so that's what we're going to use today. But we're going to grab the land and seed. And like I said, about the bottom 1/3 of the container. I did this with my window boxes this past year. Man, were they stellar. So, okay, so that's about the bottom third. We're going to break up any chunks. The idea is that as the roots grow and as the plant matures, that it then hits those this layer of compost and they just take off. It's another food source for them, nice and nutritious, provides great drainage because it isn't in a container, so that's not too much of an issue. But the land and seed has great little pieces of aged pine bark fines in it, so of course that is always beneficial. What I'm going to do now is take the potting soil, put it in top, and I am going to add just a little bit of the compost in with the potting soil because this is the professional mix and there's no fertilizer in there. It's just a straight planting medium, so I'm just going to add just a little bit to give it a little shot of food to begin with. Because we are going to be potting up a perennial in a container, this perennial is going to stay in here hopefully for several more years, and we are going into winter. I'm going to go ahead and add a sprinkle of biotone to this container. Now, normally, of course, you know, when you use your biotone, you make your hole, you put it in the bottom, put the plant in, and put the potting soil back on top. Because we're going to break apart this heuchera just a little bit, I don't know that I'm going to have like a specific hole. I'm just going to put it in there. It'll all leach together. It is fine. You don't have to be that particular, because you know what? God made these plants nice and strong. They're smart. They'll figure it out. So we're just going to do about 2 handfuls in here and then just work it. Because as it rains and or we water it, all this will reach its roots and it'll be fine. I think sometimes we tend to really over baby our plants a little bit and not give them enough credit. They're a lot tougher than what we think. Okay, now this is going to be the interesting part, because we're going to take this lemon love and we're going to figure out what's going on here. So of course you have the main plant, which is back here. But there's about, I don't know, close to 6 inches of a trunk sticking out. We want that all the way down in there. I was trying to decide if I want to take these pieces off. I'm wondering if they will root themselves, or let's get as many pine needles out of here. You know what? That's gardening. It's just experimenting and trying it, right? You just got to get in there and figure it out. So many times I think we want people to tell us exactly what to do, and that's certainly our goal here at Creekside, is to help you. But sometimes you just got to get in there and kind of figure it out, right? So back here, there's that much of a stalk sticking out. We want this to be underneath the soil level. So I think that's what we're going to do, is just get this girl out. Maybe we really will have a hole. Pull it back. Here we go. Still a little high. So I'm going to do over here is separate my old soil from my good stuff. So make a pile of my good stuff away from my old potting soil, because I'm sure I'll have to come back in here with some more once she's in and fill her in. So there we go. I think since I do have a hole, I'll add a little biotone straight to that spot right there. Here we go. Also going to come over here and take off some of the root ball, because those roots had grown all the way down to the bottom of the container. So we're going to loosen those up. Okay. Oh yeah, now she's down in there. Now we're cooking with peanut oil. All right, so now we're just going to come back through and take all the good potting soil and put it up around her, filling in any little holes. And we want to go up higher, right? Because that's the whole point. Those little trunks that were sticking out, we want them to be buried. Heucheras are what we consider a semi-evergreen, meaning in the winter they never lose all of their leaves, but they're not in a period of active foliage growth. So the foliage will tend to look a little ratty in the wintertime, and that's okay, because as soon as spring comes around, this foliage will actually die back as the new foliage emerges, and then we can just take scissors or gardening pruners and just go around and just trim off all the dead stuff. Okay, my friends, as easy as that and as simple as that, Lemon Love has been replanted. Should be a very happy plant this winter and going into next growing season. Again, I'm not going to see really any kind of change in this plant for the winter. It won't be until next spring and summer that I will know if what I have done has been a great success, because she will cover this entire pot and be gorgeous and look like this very happy heuchera living her best life in this container. So as simple as that, if you have a heuchera that's not looking well, it looks like you have almost like trunks kind of coming out of the base of it, simply dig it up, get as many of the roots as you possibly can, and then plant it deeper so that those trunks are now in the soil. It will make a world of difference. As always, we appreciate you. Thank you so much for gardening with Creekside. Y'all have a great day. We'll see you in the next video. Bye, friends.